Here's the second leg of today's flight. Different aircraft. We are in a Fokker 50 and we are headed over to Reno. Passengers are boarded. We got about 45 passengers on board today with the full complement of their bags as well as the flight crew. And let's go ahead and jump on board and close the door up and get the aircraft started. So without further ado, let's come here to the... And then after Battle Mountain, we go into the... we're going to add My Bad, which we may end up getting 2 of these, and then we're going to add the departure or the arrival there later. We've got our seatbelts on and our no smoking to auto. And let's go ahead and turn our little compass light on. All right. We'll turn our probe heats on here a second. We're going to do ignition, engine. And here we go. All right. Now we are going to introduce the fuel. This is going to the start position, as you can see. All right, let's go ahead and look over here. We're going to monitor all of our engine gauges, of course. All right. Number 2 is stable. Time to jump back up top. Alright, you can see we have rotation on number 1. We're going to go back down and do the same thing. Fuel up. Right there to the actual spot it needs to be. Those engines are coming up. Alright, now what we need to do is come down here and we need to just pause that. We need to put our flight controls all the way down. There we go. Otherwise we won't be able to steer the aircraft, of course. And we'll leave this prop reverser situation up. Okay, engines are situated. So let's scroll on in here. As you can see here with the terminal, we're just simply going to taxi right here, Alpha, to the runway. And for departure, right around this area, we'll go ahead and switch it over to this clearance. Let them know we're number 1, and then we'll take off, and then we'll switch over to our departure. Take these passengers on a nice little flight to Reno.
Signal pin on the right. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
All right, thank you, sir. You can see them clearing out there safely in his little tug. Such a nice little feller to come out and do that for us. Let's make sure he stays clear. Alright, apparently he is just going to stop there. Alright, so he's giving us the sign out there, as you can see. Good to go. See his little hands? So hopefully we don't hit him. Alright, because we are bearing to the right. Let's go for park and brake off. Alright. Apparently he's just going to drive right into the field and then probably disappear. Alright, folks. We're going to go ahead and call clearance here in a second. Clearance, November 35 Kilo Tangos here at Provo, number 1 in sequence, ready for departure. Alright, so it'll take a minute to see where we're at, what we're talking about. It's a different controller. Oh, you know what?
350 Tango, Salt Lake departure. Do you receive your IFA clearance?
Yes, sir. I received the IFR clearance, my squat code, and was just instructed to advise with number 1 for departure.
November 350 Kilo Tango, release for departure. Clearance void is not off in 5 minutes. Report airborne.
Okay, release for departure, and we'll advise airborne for November 350 Kilo Tango. We'll talk to you soon. All right. So we'll switch to our departure frequency here quick. It's good for us. All right. Nice, easy taxi. All right. We'll continue taxiing the aircraft. Let's go ahead and get ready for departure. Landing lights on. Crew, prepare for departure. Strobes are on. All right. Just a little braking there. All right, one-way 3-1. Let's check for any oncoming traffic. Clear left. Clear right. All right, folks, let's do what we came to do here. All right, folks. Come over here and line up with the runway, of course. All right. We're all lined up, folks. Here we go. Takeoff power is set. Speed is alive. $80 knots. Coming up on V1, and rotate. Positive rate. Just gonna fly the aircraft here for a second manually. All right, we've got it on a nice smooth heading here. Let's go ahead and engage that autopilot. We're gonna go for IAS climb, and we'll go for nav. Getting us slew just a little bit off course. Flaps up. Flaps are up. We did a great job of maintaining our appropriate speed. Now let's go on over to our departure. We're on it already. Good job for us. Salt Lake City departure. November 350 Kilo Tango, 6,400, climbing flight level 180.
Number 350 Kilo Tango, go through departure, ident.
All right, we're going to come down here and ident quick. All right, we idented. He should give us radar contact here in a minute.
November 0 Tango, radar contact 3 miles northwest of Provo. Proceed direct Fairfield.
Direct Fairfield for November 350 Kilo Tango. All right, he gave us direct Fairfield. Let's do what he said. We're going to activate that. Let's observe the aircraft making the turn here over Pretty Lake, Utah. We are continuing our climb, folks. All right. Let's come over here and turn the volume up a little bit. He's coming a little low. Turn him up to about 68. And folks, nothing to it. Now we're going to go ahead and make sure the aircraft is in a continued climb mode, which I should have done before. But it's more for efficiency on the engine and saving gas. As you can see, all the pops, everything's coming back. Let me see here. We're pretty much redlining our NH. Let me see if I can slide the sliders back just a little bit.
Zero Tango, yep.
I'll say again for November 350 Kilo Tango.
November Zero Tango, depart Fairfield, heading 290, vector for restricted airspace.
Okay, depart Fairfield, heading 290, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, we didn't catch that, so we're going to depart Fairfield at heading 290. We should be at Fairfield in approximately 4 nautical miles. Let's double check our GPS. Here's Fairfield, and we've got Fairfield 3.7 nautical miles. It says 4 here, but it'll drop to 3. There you go. So what this thing does, the difference between what this does is the reason why it'll say 3, it doesn't have the point. So once it gets below 3, then it changes to 2, if you will. So we'll be departing Fairfield as we should. When necessary, heading 290. In the meantime, let's jump up top, get our landing lights off, and let's monitor when we get to Fairfield. Still got a nice climb, a slow climb might I add, but nonetheless. Alright, Fairfield, 2 nautical miles. Still climbing up at about 1,500.
Kilo, taxi departing via Alpha with frequency. Have a good day.
We're departing via Alpha with you. Kilo, thank you. Good night.
1 degree, we need to push it over. There we go. Alright, we're close enough to Fairfield. Let's go ahead and jump over to heading. Alright, folks, now we are making our turn. Some other traffic in there.
Advise when there is to copy the amendments to your route.
Alright. 290. Departure number 350 Kilo Tango. If that route is for me, I am prepared to copy.
November 0 Kilo Tango, cleared via flight heading 290 to join J154 to Battle Mountain. Rest unchanged.
Okay, 294 to Jetway 154, then on to Battle Mountain VOR, and the rest is unchanged. November 350 Kilo Tango.
The back correct.
Okay, so we had a little route change here. He decided to change our route. So now what we're going to do is from FFU, we're going to look for that airway of J154. So we're going to come here. We're going to come to, and we're going to load the airway. And it should be airway or Jetway 154, which we don't see. So this ought to be interesting. There's the jetways here.
November 4 Golf Charlie, contact Oakland Center.
Alright, let's see if we can just use our map to get us on course here.
128.7, November 4 Golf Charlie.
Okay. So let's come up just a little bit. So there's the Victor Airways, but they're only showing low en route. We go a little higher.
HB001. No weather available for Charlie Alpha 6 to expect visual approach.
Okay. Let me go ahead and look at my other charts here. So in order to get there, we're going to put in heed. So Let's check how our aircraft is doing. Still climbing. All right, into the flight plan. We are going to insert before BAM, and it is head. H.
Portland clearance, Horizon 2821 with a Romeo, ready to copy Medford.
Enter. And then we're going to load the airway.
2821, Portland clearance, clear to Medford Airport.
Okay, let's see.
Portland 1 departure, ready vectors to Victor 23. Balance filed.
So, flight plan.
6000, expect flight level 2105 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.1, clock 3241.
Activate that. Come back up top.
Horizon 2821,
Well, first of all,
clear
let's go
to
check our
Medford
GPS
as
and see
filed.
what's happening.
Portland 1,
Okay, so
climb
there's
6000, departure is 1181, squawk
So
3241.
now,
Feedback correct.
we are going to just put that there.
Delta 1251, cross barrel ground at and maintain flight level 240.
And then now what I'm going to do, 154 BVL. So once we get to head in BVL, we won't necessarily be right on jetway 154, but we'll be close enough. Then we're going to add Bonneville, and then we'll add that direct to the field. Okay, so a little bit of extra work we got to do on here. You got to make it work. So let's go ahead and add after head, insert after. We're going to insert Bonneville, which is Bravo Victor Lima, Bonneville. Now from Bonneville, we're going to load the airway. We're going to load jetway 154, and we're going to take that to Battle Mountain and load it. Now let's see what we're looking like. All right, head, BVL, spruce, bam. There we go, folks. And we have essentially got ourselves back on course so that we found that jetway 154. You can't, you just simply can't be scared to do what you got to do in order to make it to the jetway when the navigator or when the air traffic control gives it to you. Of course, it's a simulation world, so there's some stuff that sometimes you get a little, oh, that's not on board. But we managed to do what you call a workaround. So we're cruising smartly here. Once we get to
Mercury Center, November 83, Mike Delta, flight level 310.
November 3, Mike Delta, I'll get you centered. 1251, connect tower 1 airport letter. Delta 1251, Sail Tower 16, center correct.
We're going to go ahead and check the ATIS again. So it's X-ray.
Temperature 17. Dew point -2. Altimeter 3011. Arriving and departing runway 34 left, 34 right. Visual approaches in use. VFR departures, contact, clearance, delivery. Advise on.
Okay, so I heard them. I don't know if you heard through that static, but they are landing north, as I stated. 34 left is the runway that we are going to land on. So let's go ahead and just load that approach. Flight plan, and you know what? I'm going to do the RNAV. If they have one. Let's see here. Load procedure. There's the arrival there. Now we just need to load the approach. We're saying it's going to be 34 left. Let's see, they've got a X-ray, a Yankee, RNAV 34 right. We don't want that. RNAV looks like RNAV for the 34 runway, 34 left is the only option anyway. LNAV plus VNAV, or 34 left. Okay, let's try that one. And we'll just load the approach. We won't activate it yet. Left, right there at the tip where my mouse is at. That's the field right there. So we're essentially going to make one big circle and come in and land right over here on 34 left. And you can see the terminal area here. Right there. Might even be able to get an awesome view from the passenger side. Oh, wrong side. And there's some buildings down there, probably some casinos. All right, if we wanted to have a little fun, I could from this point take it manually. Again, there's the field is just over that way, and I'm thinking about it, guys. You can see we're going direct Vikes right now. All right, let's see. If we were to take a shortcut, we can't get any lower than 8,000 feet right now. Coming in over those mountains. I don't know, folks. Let's have some fun. Let's do a visual here. All right, folks. We're going to get a heading of 254 and then 344. All right, so let me set my heading of 254. All right, so we're going to set that on the heading mode now. We're also going to start our descent. Let's pull the power back. Oops. I meant to hit this VS. So we can make our turn. All right, and let's go ahead and start pitching down. we're gonna take this thing visual. And I'm gonna do a little trick here. We are going to just tell this we want to go direct to CARM or visual reference, of course.
Track.
All right. So here in a second, now we can actually nav over that way. So we're going to get ourselves lined up, and then we'll do the visual. All right. As promised, which I didn't do before, all that talking, let's get the landing lights all on. Landing lights are on. Turn straight here. Now, just because we're direct to this waypoint does absolutely not mean that we're lined up with the runway just yet. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you increase it, you can see we're taking a shortcut straight across, in which, you know, you're not supposed to be passing this mountain, but I am going to start descending now to 8,100 feet, if you see that. So, bring it on down. 8,100 feet. We're going to get some vertical action going on there. Oops. Kind of tricky here. Alright, folks. And I'm about to just go ahead and take it all the way visual, of course. You can see the runways right there. You guys see it? My cursor? Alright, folks. We're going autopilot off, as promised.
Caution.
Autopilot is off. All right. Coming back on the power, folks. We got a good visual.
2,500.
There you go. That's what we want to hear. All right, folks.
2,500. 2,500.
Going first stage flaps down. Trim the aircraft down. Like I said, she likes to go nose down a lot for her approaches.
$2,500.
Got a good view of runway 34 right. A little windy here. Here in a second I'll drop the gear so we can get some more drag on the aircraft. As you recall, field elevation at the field is 4,000, touchdown zone is 4,410 feet. Alright, we're somewhat on the glide slope. Okay, folks, gears coming down. Alright. Alright, folks. Speed is bleeding, which is what we want. We're a little high. Not much. That's what I like to see, a nice stable approach. There we go. With this aircraft, you don't want to
1,000.
Even though the bug is saying nose down a lot more, you don't want to nose down too fast. This thing is heavy and it will most certainly pick up a lot of speed. Alright, gear is down. If you can look at the right side of your screen, 3 green. Flaps are down. Landing lights are on. Speeds are checked. And the landing checklist is complete. Throw on some power now here. Not much. Just enough to keep our current speed.
500.
And as you see, I'm just a little bit below where we should be on the glide slope, but that's because I don't want to nose down a whole lot when we get to the runway.
400. 300.
Alright, nice and stable.
Too
2 low, flaps. 2 low, flaps. 2
Alright.
low, flaps.
Just
2
ignore
low,
all that.
flaps. 2 low, flaps. 2 low,
100.
flaps. 2 low, flaps. 2 low, flaps.
50. 40.
2 low, flaps. 2 low, flaps.
20.
2 low, flaps. 2
10.
low, flaps. 2 low, flaps. 2 low, flaps.
Alright, folks. 2 low flaps didn't work for me. Alright. Alright. Nice easy coast. And we're going to coast all the way down, of course. 60 knots. We can go ahead and apply the brakes. Welcome to Reno. Again, I didn't land with the full flaps that it wanted to, but you have to know that about this aircraft. If you land with full flaps you don't need to, it's going to be a bad day all day long. I've learned that from flying this. So you just got to kind of gauge how the aircraft, it was a nice, smooth, stable approach. And we're pulling in right here into the terminal. We were able to make the taxiway that we wanted to, which I believe is Juliet here. Alright, let's get off the runway. Let's just slow it down here. All the flaps are coming up. Let's jump track on here just a little bit. And let's get our landing light off. And of course, our strobes. Flaps are up. Alright, folks. We didn't need no stinking air traffic control on the way in. Alright. That was a very slow flight on a slow plane, but you know what? It was enjoyable. I really can't complain. Even if I did, who's listening, right? We got a busy airport here. As far as the cars anyway, not much planes. Of course, that might have to do with me turning my traffic program down. Because the traffic program, it's not on the regular ATC that we're on, so there'll be planes landing and taking off or in your way that, you know, Pilot Edge or the ATC is not going to recognize. Alright, there's our little parking area over there. Are. Little worker bee streaming right across. Got a JetBlue over there. Alright, we are in the ramp area, folks. Here is our gate. Even though this is a turboprop, we just won't pull all the way up and we'll let the stairs down, let the passengers disembark. Alright. Straight on up. Let's coaster on in, folks. I want to say thanks again for flying with us today. Pretty uneventful flight. Pretty scenic.